Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Garden of Sports Fantasy Football off-season episode 2 here. Our first episode was about a month ago, and we went over, I think, all our off-season signings, and it actually went like 2 hours, right, guys?
It was a long episode.
It's okay.
But I think we had a lot
to go over. We had a lot to go over.
Yeah, and of course I have Zach here, my co-host, and special guest Kyle Forsythe.
What's up?
Howdy.
And Kyle's basically becoming a co-host himself at this point. We want him to be, it just depends on his schedule. But
that's true.
Yeah, whenever he's free, he'll be on this whole season.
Hell yeah.
And today we're going to go over our top 10 rankings for fantasy football points leagues for each of our top 10s and rank them, discuss them, debate them. We'll go over a rookie at each position as well, and a sleeper that's outside the top 10, but give you one sleeper at each position. So,
yes.
Yep, this week's going to be standard-based scoring, and then next week when we do a fantasy draft, we'll also release, I guess, a Word doc like this of our top 10 PPR rankings. So,
absolutely.
Yeah, dude, let's jump in. Quarterback, Zach, who you got?
Yes, so this is the fun part. Top 10 lists. Everybody loves a top 10 list. Everybody loves to. I just feel like from experience with lists that everybody just likes to nitpick everybody's list. So here we are. Everybody's gonna. So I'm sure I'm gonna offend lots of people with my list, but just go ahead here without any further rambling because I'm a rambler. Number one, quarterback. This is top 10 quarterbacks for each of us. Number one, I got, should I count down, Jake, or just do number one first?
No, do 10 first. I like it.
All right, yeah. So number 10, I got Matt Ryan. I think he's about to have a huge year on a good team. This is the best team I think Matt Ryan's going to be quarterbacking since Atlanta went to the Super Bowl. I think there's a ton of talent, and I think Matt Ryan is still has some skill left in him. For a couple years, I think that as long as he stays healthy, he will get the ball to all those skilled position guys on that team, and he has a good running back to also help ease the load a little bit for him. So I think a big year's in store for Matt Ryan. So that's kind of a big projection, but
okay,
I believe in it. And then number 9, I think Lamar Jackson gets back into the top 10 just because he's such a prolific with the running. I think that'll get him a ton of points, and I think he'll have a better year than his kind of bit of a down year last year. He had some injuries and missed some games and stuff, so I think Lamar Jackson gets back into the top 10 this year. And then number 8, Matthew Stafford. I think as long as he's healthy, I think it'll be just a ho-hum year for him, just slinging. Just like he does. I think he's a top 10 lock as long as he's healthy. I know there's some stuff right now with his elbow, which we got to keep watching. So this is obviously
if he's healthy.
If he's healthy for a whole year.
Yep.
Number 7, Aaron Rodgers. I think he's a lock for the top 10. So I don't think there's much debate about him being on the top 10. Some people could think he could be higher than 7 or lower than 7, whatever. I think that's a good spot for him. Number 6, Tom Brady. Pretty sure as long as he's healthy, he's a lock for the top 10. All he does is just get fucking points. And then number 5, Dak Prescott. I think he's a top 5 lock as long as he's healthy. There's a ton of talent on that offense, and I think another year of Dak Prescott. This is going to be the second year after the bad injury, so I think this is the year that he'll be most back to normal. I think last year was him kind of building himself back up to get back, into football shape. So I think this year he's going to be feeling a lot better, and I think we're going to get the best Dak Prescott maybe this season. Number 4, Joe Burrow. Joe Stud. I really like Joe Burrow a lot. I think he's a lock to be top 4 as long as he's healthy. He's got that great receiving core there. And Joe Mixon's not a terrible pass-catching running back, too, so I think there's tons of points in store for Joe Burrow. They got a little bit better of an offensive line, so imagine how much better he could be with not having to run for his life. So I think there's a ton of points for Joe Burrow in store. And then number 3, not too much. I mean, maybe a little bit. Some people might have this guy higher, but I think Patrick Mahomes, I have him at 3 on my list. Still a very good spot to be. Mahomes, I think, is a top quarterback lock. You know, he's just so prolific with everything he can do. And then number 2, I really like Justin Herbert a lot. I think this guy could be number 1 too this year, because he is he's actually a good runner, and I think he's one of the best pure passers in the league right now. I think he can be, at least. The way he plays quarterback is beautiful to watch. I don't know if you guys have ever seen much Chargers games, Jake or Kyle, but Herbert, besides Patrick Mahomes' first year where he was throwing the ball all over the place, Justin Herbert these last 2 seasons has been one of my most fun quarterbacks to watch when I've watched his games. And then number 1 on my list, the guy who's been the number 1 quarterback the last 2 seasons in most fantasy leagues, Josh Allen. He's another one of my favorite quarterbacks. I just love the way how different he is, because usually when you have a running mobile quarterback, you sacrifice a bit of the passing, but not with Josh Allen. He'll get you all the rushing yards, and he plays and he runs like a tight end where he'll try and hurdle people. He'll stiff arm people. He is definitely a bad hit away from a serious injury, but I'm not going to think about that because he stayed healthy so far. But just the fact that last year he ran for 800 yards and threw for 4,500. I mean, the guy's a fucking fantasy monster. So I don't know how you could argue him being number 1 for a fantasy league. So I don't know. And then, so that's my top 10. And then I have a rookie who I think is going to break out as Kenny Pickett on the Steelers. I think he'll be in by like week 5 or 6. I think Trubisky is going to be good, but I think he might get an injury or something, and they're going to eventually get Pickett in there, because you know how this goes, guys. The rookie usually always starts at some point. So I think Kenny Pickett's going to get in there at some point, and I think he'll do pretty decent on the Steelers. They're a well-coached team. So, and then I got a sleeper quarterback for the season with Tua Tagovailoa. I mean, all the receivers they got on that offense, I think Tua everything is there for Tua to have a breakout year, so we'll see if he can do it. So with that, what do you guys think of my list?
Yeah, now we can run through ours.
Yeah, run through your list, and then I guess we'll debate after that.
Yeah. Yeah. So reluctantly at 10, I put Aaron Rodgers. I am a little worried about his pieces, but I still think he could break out and make a star out of one of these wide receivers, which is kind of what he's done over his career. I'm just a little worried. I know a lot of fantasy experts have him pegged as a bust this year. So
a surprise, to be sure, but a welcome one.
Oh my gosh. 9, Derek Carr. He's got the pieces now. And I know last year was not necessarily a breakout season, but maybe his best numbers of his career yet. And now he's got obviously the top 5 wide receiver, Devontae Adams. Yeah. So I mean, he could be better than 9. I just didn't want to overproject. Matthew Stafford, love the guy. Obviously the elbow issue, but I think he could be higher as well. Then 7, Dak Prescott. I feel like eventually it's going to be Dallas's year, no matter how much everyone wants to shit on him. And yeah, I just foresee him having a great year this year. They're going to be locked in. I think they know it's probably one of their last locks together. Jalen Hurts, this might be a surprise to you guys, but I have him at number 6. I know I'll have to pull up an article here as we debate, but he has one of the easiest schedules of all these quarterbacks, and he's also a multifaceted QB like Josh Allen and like Lamar Jackson where he can run and pass. And now he actually has a wide receiver there. And A.J. Brown. So, yeah, I think kind of the stars are aligning for him to have a good year. Russell Wilson I bumped up to 5. I think he's going to have a lot of motivation to prove a lot of people wrong after kind of a dud year last year. And also he's been playing with no offensive line for years now. And maybe this year he's really going to put something together. Justin Herbert at 4. It was hard for me to put him below Joe Burrow, but I had to put Joe Burrow at 3 because his offensive line, they made 3 big offseason moves on the O-line, and now they're ranked 8th coming into the season, where last year they were 20th. So obviously everyone saw Joe Burrow running for his life last year, so this is going to be a lot better. Patrick Mahomes, I know he's lost a lot of pieces, but I think he's kind of an Aaron Rodgers type quarterback that makes the wide receivers great. And then Josh Allen at number 1. I agree with Zach there.
All right.
And my rookie, Desmond Ritter, he is on the Atlanta Falcons, and ahead of him is Mariota, who we know is very injury prone. And this is a team that's rebuilding, so they're going to want to see what this quarterback can do. And Ritter had a really good preseason game recently, completed 10 for 22 passes for 103 yards and 2 touchdowns. 59 yards on 6 carries. So, yeah, I think that opened a lot of eyes. And, I mean, maybe even if Mariota doesn't get hurt, this guy could still take the job. And then Sleeper had to talk about Justin Fields. I know I've talked a lot of crap, but this is kind of an important year for him with a whole new coaching staff to see if it was the coaching last year or if it was him just making dumb mistakes. So
all you guys in 20-team leagues out there, pay attention.
You don't think he can do anything?
I think he could, but yeah, it's definitely a deep sleeper for sure.
Got a better arm than Tua.
That's yeah. I mean, you could a better arm maybe, but I don't know. I like Justin Fields. I don't want to get this confused with people. I like Justin Fields a lot. I just don't know about the Bears compared to the Dolphins. You know, there's a lot more talent on the Dolphins. But,
that's true.
Yeah, and he'll be 20 yards short of the talent.
God,
That's a good one.
I'll run through mine real quick, and then we can debate. So, one that I put in that could have been my sleeper, but I thought he's maybe higher. Trey Lance for San Fran has really been touted during this preseason and everything. They're saying that he's totally beating out Garoppolo for the starting job. You got George Kittle is back. Debo's been locked down. Last game he went 4 for 5 for 92 passing yards and a touchdown. And then we also know that he can run a lot. So I think that he could possibly have a big breakout year this year in San Fran. So he's my number 10. Jalen Hurts, I have at number 9. It's kind of the same thing. He was doing really good at the end of the season last year. I really think that he could possibly build on that, especially with the fact that now he's got A.J. Brown. He's got Devontae Smith. Those are 2 big-time receivers. You know, Devontae Smith, obviously the Heisman winner. He's, a generational talent. So if he can start to unlock that talent in the NFL level, I think that Jalen Hurts could really shine. I have Russell Wilson wearing his new orange and white in Denver. Then I have Dak Prescott at number 7. Number 6, I have Matt Stafford. 5, I have who's maybe in his final year, Tom Brady. Maybe he'll have, obviously we all said, oh, he's retired. And then I told everyone at the time, I said, I don't believe it until the season starts and he's not in a uniform. It was how long until he announced he was coming back. So
he needed the attention back on him, man.
I guess that's what he needed. So he's back. Maybe he's going to, obviously last year he was just throwing big time yards all over the place. So I think he's definitely a top 10 for sure. My top 4 is basically the same as you guys, maybe just a little bit different in the order. Number 4, I have Joe Burrow. I'll believe the old line when I see it. Number 3, Justin Herbert, who I think can absolutely take another step this year and get even more accurate. And then no surprise on my top 2. Number 2, Patrick Mahomes. and then number 1, Josh Allen, which we all had across the board number 1 for our quarterbacks. So those are my 10.
I like to see that we agree on Josh Allen. I think he's finally getting the respect.
I don't think there's any arguing it. He's been the top guy the past 2 years.
Only reason Patrick Mahomes isn't one for me is because he's lost all the wide receivers. So
and he doesn't run.
I think that gives Josh Allen the edge.
Doesn't run quite as much.
Yeah, Allen definitely scrambles and definitely takes off a lot more than Mahomes does. That's because Mahomes can usually throw the ball a lot prettier balls, where he doesn't have to run. Where that's part of what Allen does.
Mm-hmm.
For my sleeper, I agreed with both. Honestly agreed with both of you between Pickett and Ritter, but I went with somebody different. This is probably like a deep guy. I don't think this is necessarily a guy that's going to break out, but I think an interesting name to watch with the rookie being Malik Willis, the quarterback that went to Tennessee.
I like that one too, obviously. Yeah,
it's big time because you wonder, if Tannehill isn't able to keep up, or maybe they're not having the success that they want, will they go for the rookie who hasn't looked great? I think he went 7 for 17 in the last preseason game.
Yeah.
But he's got legs and he's got a big arm. So will they go for the rookie if Tannehill can't? I don't know. I don't think necessarily that it's anyone to pick up. I just think it's an interesting name to watch. Definitely. And as for my sleeper, I definitely like Matt Ryan as my sleeper. I think that the offensive line that he's going to have there is much improved. The receivers, not necessarily as much, because he honestly had really great receivers in Atlanta for a few years. So you wonder how they're going to look there. But by all accounts, what they're saying and in practices and everything is that Matt Ryan has absolutely looked the part of strong veteran quarterback, leading the offense, making great rapport with the receivers. So I think that he's a big sleeper. I think he could possibly have a breakout year. New start, new team. Let's see what he can do.
Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. Then the Malik Willis thing too. I like the talent of him. the only reason I was knocking around Malik Willis for my rookie, but the only reason I didn't is because I think he has the most actual competition.
For sure, absolutely. I think that obviously Tennessee, which there's not even really a whole lot of rookie quarterbacks that we can even really look at to say like, oh, well, they have a breakout year. A lot of the other ones that went later are for sure backups or worse, but like Malik Willis is going into the strongest QB room compared to, the Steelers and compared to Atlanta. Obviously, those two teams have horrible quarterback rooms right now to where they absolutely might be thrust in the start, whereas Malik Willis might not, depending on how Tannehill plays.
Right. Agreed. And then I don't know. I don't have Russell Wilson or Jalen Hurts in my top 10. I don't know. I feel like this year we're going to have a little more of the pass catching guys do more. I don't know. They could easily, both those guys, be top 10. I need to see. Russell Wilson took a big step back last year. He didn't look like near how he normally looks, where he can carry the team. I just don't know.
He wanted to be traded. I don't think he was putting all his heart. He didn't want to get injured. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He was just playing to get the paycheck at that point.
And then Jalen Hurts, he could easily crack the top, make the top 10 too with his rushing ability and everything. I don't know. So I could make a case for those two guys too, but I don't know. It's hard to make a top 10 list.
let's go through each other's lists again and give like whoever's lists. So we're going over Zach's. I'll give my biggest critique, and Kyle give your biggest critique of Zach's, and then so on and so forth for everybody. That way,
let's do that.
We get through each position and don't waste. We don't lose listeners here.
This is fun. This is fun.
Yeah. So just Matt Ryan. I'll take Matt Ryan in the top 10 for me. I just don't think it's going to happen. I mean, it was hard for me to pick a top 10. Like you said, Zach, it's hard to pick a top 10. Like I have Tom Brady off my top 10. I have Lamar Jackson off that. I don't think Matt Ryan's better than those two. There's probably a few other guys too. He can't crack it for me. I'm sorry.
Well, that's okay. I mean, Matt Ryan's been fringe top 10 with Atlanta, and I don't know. I feel like this is a better team. So if he has anything left in him, I mean, I think he could do it. It's definitely a projection. I'll agree with you.
For sure. All right, Kyle,
are we doing just on the 1 through 10, or are also like the sleeper and the rookie?
You could pick one of those too if that's your biggest critique.
I don't know.
You can critique all 12 if you wanted.
I merely wanted to understand the rules to which I needed to abide. So let me see.
Zach, your list sucks. Got to be frank.
No, because honestly, it's funny how similar our lists are.
Yeah, they really are.
There's another one. Trey Lance. I would put him above Matt Ryan too.
Really?
Okay.
See, I don't know. Trey Lance. I don't know. I agree that Trey Lance is probably top 10, but I don't know. I obviously I have Matt Ryan as my sleeper, but I truly believe in my soul that Matt Ryan could possibly correct.
What about Kyler Murray?
What's funny is I was going to say I think it's funny that all of us kept him off the list.
I don't know what it is. There's something about it.
He doesn't have DeAndre Hopkins for the first 6 weeks. How can you be
a top 10 QB
that's why when you don't have your top guy for 6 weeks? Who else is going to catch the ball?
He was only good last year. He was only good last year until he got hurt, Hopkins.
Yeah, I was going to say Kyler Murray looks like a different quarterback when Hopkins doesn't play.
Mm-hmm. I mean, who's he going to throw it to? Zach Ertz? Okay, they're going to cover the big man every time. And then who else is left?
Yeah, they lost their speedster to Jacksonville.
He looks a little more like Kyler Trubisky out there.
Kyler Trubisky.
Little shorter.
A little shorter, but...
Yeah, just a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think my biggest critique... I would probably say I think that Aaron Rodgers is lower than 7 to me. Obviously, they had that big, I don't remember his name, but they had like the second round draft pick that everyone was touting could be like the next like big guy. And he ended up not going to the first round, and Green Bay got him in the second.
Christian Watson.
After losing somebody like Devontae Adams and then having all of the offseason just drama on top of now everything that's going on, I just don't know if he's necessarily that high.
Yeah, but the drama doesn't get to Aaron Rodgers. He's got his mushrooms or his ayahuasca, whatever it is that he goes to. So he's able to tune all that out, man.
His tea that he drinks,
touched by a million hands.
He might. Now that's not to say that he might not be good. He'll obviously be good during the season, but will he be fantasy good? Is more so.
I think so. I think so, because I think this is going to be similar to if you look back to when Devontae Adams was a rookie and nobody thought much of him. Like I think Adams was a second or third round pick. I think a second round pick too. Very similar. I think you can make the comparison, and everybody was like, "Oh, Rodgers isn't," because that was when who was that old white receiver they had that was really good? He left that year. He wasn't there.
Jordy Nelson.
Oh, Jordy
Nelson. Yeah, that was the first year he left, and they were like, "Oh, is Aaron Rodgers going to be good without Jordy Nelson?"
Yes.
And he ended up having a great year with the new guys, and he ended up making Devontae Adams a name.
Yep.
I think this is going to be similar to that. I think this Devontae Adams gave I think that it's a combination of Aaron Rodgers made Devontae Adams great, but then Devontae Adams also contributed to making himself more great. I think there's both. I think you can, commend both guys for making Adams as good as he was. But I think this is going to actually make Rodgers a better quarterback for fantasy, because he's actually going to be distributing the ball, reading the field more. He's not just going to stare down Adams,
Yep.
That's
I
my
believe it when I see it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
But
I feel like we've seen it though before, but he's been around for
he just gave the example.
He's also older though. He's also, I don't know,
37, 38.
But when you're on ayahuasca for 20 years, you're 20 years younger. So,
dude, let me tell you something. That guy does not look 20 years younger.
No, he doesn't.
No, he needs to shave his beard to help him.
Yeah. So, any other critiques there?
No,
that's good.
Other than that, I do like your list. I really do.
All right, sounds good. And then we'll just continue, Kyle. We'll just have you roll right on to Jake's, Kyle. And then I'll do
Jake's. Let's
see. I already have my own biggest critique.
Your own? I have one for myself too, it's more of a mistake on my end, but what's funny is that Jake and my list though is so unbelievably similar. Besides the fact that you have Derek Carr and Aaron Rodgers, I have Jalen Hurts and Trey Lance.
And Tom Brady.
Well, we both have Tom Brady.
No, I don't have Tom Brady.
Oh, you don't have Tom Brady.
That's my biggest critique, I think.
I think that's a good point, actually.
I was struggling to put... I was picking between him and Aaron Rodgers for 10.
Then I'm going to cheat, and I'm going to say that that's my critique. but I think that Tom Brady will have a big year, and obviously he's proven to have bigger numbers than Rodgers, and now you have him. Now you have Brady keeping all the same receivers, whereas Rodgers lost Devontae Adams. In my mind, Brady is better than Adams.
I should have switched them.
Or better than Rodgers, but that's my only one. Other than that, I was like struggling to come up with a critique. I'm like, I don't know what to say, because if I make a critique against your list, I gotta also make the same against mine. So
there you go. I got you, dude.
Yeah. I do have a few critiques for Jake.
Well,
so.
One, dude. Give me one. Jeez. Don't tell me.
All right. So, let's see where I got 12 critiques here.
My God.
I'm just kidding.
I start at the bottom.
My first critique. I'm not really going to critique your sleeper or rookie that much, because that's big projections, and I do like Fields, so I would absolutely love it if he was like a big sleeper and had a great year. So I'm not going to critique Fields. But Derek Carr, I don't know how you can have Derek Carr in a top 10 list and not Tom Brady. So I don't know. I would probably move Carr out of the top 10 and put Brady there at 9, even if you're not so high on Brady. 9.
Wasn't Derek Carr top 10 last year?
I think no, he was like number 12 or 13 or something. He's still very good.
Hold on. Fact checking as you continue.
I was just looking before this, and I didn't see Carr in the top 10. But I think Carr is going to have a very good year, but I just don't know if he's top 10. But maybe he is with Devontae Adams now. But I think you need to have Tom Brady in the top 10. But that's just me. Other than that, I might move Russell Wilson down a little bit from number 5, but I'm not going to critique Wilson in the top 10, because if he does have a bounce back year, he's easily a top 10 quarterback. So I just don't know if he's going to be as high as number 5. But other than that, I think it's a very nice looking list.
All right.
And
Go
then
ahead and hit Kyle, dude.
Yeah, I'll move on over here to Kyle.
Wish me, Daddy.
I'm with you, Kyle, with Trey Lance. I just don't know if I can buy top 10, but I do think Lance is going to have a very good year. He's looked awesome so far in the preseason. And I know it's preseason, but he is getting snaps with the ones. So, take that for what it's worth preseason, but Trey Lance is looking studly, to be honest.
Yeah.
Other than that, I don't know. There's really not too much. I mean, if I was going to put Russell Wilson in the top 10, I would probably put him toward the bottom part of it, like Kyle did. So, I mean, I can kind of buy what Kyle's selling here. Maybe Trey Lance though. I don't know if I believe in him enough to be top 10. But other than that, and then Malik Willis, I'm not as high on for rookies go, but I get Kyle just did it because we picked the other two, so I understand that. So I mean, really,
to break it up.
Pretty good list there, Kyle. So Jake, what do you think of Kyle's list?
Oh yeah, I gotta critique it too, huh? We are pretty similar. For me, it would have to be that Trey Lance in the top 10, like over Aaron Rodgers, over just a couple of guys. I mean, Lamar Jackson, even guys that have been more proven. Not that Trey Lance couldn't be, but it's hard to break the top 10 in QB. Like,
yeah. If you look back, it's different every year for the most part. If you look at the top 10, it's not.
I do think Trey Lance is a breakout though, so I didn't put him as a sleeper because I thought everybody knows about him as like a potential breakout candidate. So he's not really a sleeper, but I do see him breaking out. I just maybe top 15, not 10.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say too. Top 15, I can easily see that the way he's looked.
So my biggest critique of my list was that, I'm not going to lie, I kind of looked at my list when we started and I was like, oh shit, where did Lamar Jackson go? Why isn't Lamar Jackson on my list? So,
dude, I know.
That's my critique of both of you guys. What do you think of Lamar Jackson? Not a critique, but like, what do you guys not think of Lamar Jackson?
I thought the league has figured him out a bit, and unless he starts being better at passing, I don't trust him right now.
Okay.
For me, he was going to be. If I had put him in the list, had I looked, which. Now looking at it, like I still don't know if I maybe would have taken Trey Lance out, but he would have been my 10. And the main thing was that like Jake's saying, he's kind of like a one-trick pony. And the other years, he's been able to have some really good throwing. And it just seemed like last year, he just couldn't get the ball to anybody. And his numbers suffered because of that, because then they're like, okay, well, we don't have to defend his throw as much. We can just lock him down on his runs. And then he just kind of was almost a fantasy bust is probably what I'd call him. So that's why he was low on my list. Obviously,
he should be top 10 though. I don't know.
I think that he can be, and I think that, he'll return to form. It's just a matter of what form of are we going to see this year,
Yeah, he ranked 28th in passer rating from a clean pocket.
Yeah.
Last year. So that's just, he's really got to turn it around. I don't know if he's playing a little hurt or anything like that. Some guys tough through it.
Right.
And don't tell anybody. So
right.
We'll see. He's like I said, he's right there for me, 11 or 12.
Right.
So it's not like he's not top 15, but
gotcha.
Yeah. Let's go to running back and
we'll just run. We don't have to give our analysis on guys. We'll just run through the top 10.
Yeah. Hit it.
Yeah. So my top 10 running backs. I got a whole speech here for this guy. No, I'm just kidding. Number 10, Najee Harris. Number 9, Aaron Jones. Number 8, David Montgomery, baby.
Oh God.
Number 7, Austin Eckler. Number 6, Joe Mixon. Number 5, Saquon Barkley. I think bounce back for him. Number 4, Christian McCaffrey. A healthy Christian McCaffrey, finally. Number 3, Mr. Reliable, Alvin Kamara. Number 2, these two guys, obvious studs. Number 2, Jonathan Taylor. Number 1, Derrick Henry. And then my rookie, I think Buffalo finally has a stud running back in James Cook. I think they're going to feed this guy, and I think he's going to be the stud that they've been trying to get, like that every down back. I think he's got the size and everything that they've desperately needed at that position, and it just makes that offense even more scary in James Cook. And then my sleeper, Travis Etienne. This is his second year, but really his rookie year after his season-ending rookie injury last year on the Jaguars. So that's my list. What do you got, Jake?
Yeah, 10, Christian McCaffrey. I just can't trust him in the top 5 anymore. If I'm literally just being honest with myself, if I was drafting and being scared of injury history, but I couldn't leave him off the top 10. With the upside, obviously, his extreme athleticism. 9, DeAndre Swift. I like to throw running backs a little higher who can catch passes as well as run well. So, and then 8, Alvin Kamara, obviously a better DeAndre Swift, and could be higher. I just want to see him. Didn't he have kind of a down year last year? Am I mistaken?
He had a down year as number 6 running back.
Yeah. No, he's pretty good. So, yeah, I struggled. I think between Joe Mixon, Nick Chubb, Alvin Kamara here. I struggled, and those 3 right around each other.
The reason, real quick before. Well, no, just go through your list. I'm sorry.
Okay.
We'll get to this later. I'm getting ahead of myself. Yeah. I'm excited. Sorry.
No, it's all good. That's what we're here for, dude.
Yeah.
7, Nick Chubb. Obviously, he's just one of the workhorses of the league. Kind of, to me, he's like the new Zeke in a sense. Just kind of can keep steady each week. Joe Mixon at 6. I think with the improved offensive line, he'll do even better than last year, which last year was a great year for him. 5, Najee Harris. I could talk more about why I have him so high when we discuss here. 4, Austin Eckler, another great pass-catching running back. And I think, like you guys said, with Herbert maybe about to take another step, it's going to open it up even more for Eckler. 3, Dalvin Cook. I think you can't go wrong with Dalvin Cook, and he's been in the top 5 consistently for a couple years now. And then you can't really debate these two too much. But Derrick Henry and Jonathan Taylor. I think I just put Jonathan Taylor a little higher because I think his QB will be better, so to open it up more for him. And then, rookie Breece Hall. He, I think, was the top running back off the board.
He was.
Correct me if I'm wrong. And I think, obviously, it's a bad team, and they're a team that's going to throw out their young talent sooner rather than later.
I just want to throw in Michael Carter. So I think it's going to be more. I like Breece Hall a lot, but I think they still got like a 1A, 1B situation there.
Yeah, we'll see. And then we have to go over. Wait, is Michael Carter a rookie?
Michael Carter was a rookie running back for the Jets last year, and he was really good. He was a good fantasy player. I had him last year. And they got Breece Hall now. I think both of them, they're going to split carries. So
we had to talk about rookies.
No, I know. I'm just saying that's why I didn't put Breece Hall on mine. That's all.
All right. And then sleeper AJ Dillon, I think he has been cutting into Aaron Jones's handoffs this past year, and this year he could easily get a lot higher usage with. They're going to have to improve their run game, I believe, or use more run game with Aaron Rodgers having a lack of weapons. And I think he'll be the goal line back more and more going forward. So he could be this year's LeGarrette Blount. We'll see.
Roll another blunt.
Yeah, that's my sleeper.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Solid list. All right, I will.
Oh, did you switch your audio?
Did I switch my audio?
Oh, you sound better now.
Yeah, it sounded like you were away.
Sorry, I was adjusting my headphones. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Oh, gotcha.
Cutting into my ears. All right, I'm going to run through my list real quick, and then we can discuss. So, number 10, I have Saquon Barkley. Number 9, Aaron Jones. I put Christian McCaffrey at 8, which then kind of like Jake was saying, these middle ones were kind of hard for me. I feel like they're all around the same kind of area, but I have Nick Chubb at 7, DeAndre Swift at 6, and I put Joe Mixon at 5. The top 4 is basically the same as Jake, just different order. 4, I have Dalvin Cook. I have Austin Eckler then at 3. Number 2, Derrick Henry. And my number 1, Jonathan Taylor. For my rookie, I went with Dameon Pierce for Houston. He's got a lot of talent, and going to a team like Houston, who in the past really hasn't had that single back. They've done a lot of running back by committee. You have a new coach that's out there. And so you wonder, and now also you don't have Deshaun Watson as well. So you take away big talent at quarterback. Got to think that they're going to be handing off more at the running back. So with the talent that he's got, I think that could really be big. He could be a big breakout rookie. For sleeper, I couldn't decide between the two, so I just picked 2 because I was not told that I couldn't do that, so I did it anyway.
That's totally fine.
I have David Montgomery, and then I do also have Travis Etienne for Jacksonville, who I was going to put as my rookie until I was looking at Dameon Pierce, and I said, now I'll go with the actual rookie. I won't do the, well, technically he's a rookie.
That's funny.
No, I won't do it.
I was going to do the exact same thing. I was going to put Travis Etienne as my rookie, but then I looked at that Buffalo drafted a running back, and I'm like, I'll just go with the Buffalo guy. That's funny.
I was like, I won't do the technical thing. It's dumb.
Technically, push his glasses up. on face.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Um,
All right, what do you guys think of my list?
Oh,
Why
don't you go ahead and explain to me Saquon?
Yeah, I just feel like if he's healthy, I mean, I don't see anything besides health being in his way for him to get a ton of carries, ton of volume, and he's a good pass catcher too. And I think if Daniel Jones can stay healthy, Daniel Jones showed me some stuff last year that I never thought that I would see out of Daniel Jones. I'm becoming a little bit more of a fan of him. I almost put him as my sleeper quarterback.
What games were you watching?
I don't know. Did you watch the first like 4 or 5 weeks of the season last year where Jones was getting like 400 yards a game until he got an injury or something? Like he was looking pretty good at the first month of last year's season. Jake and I kept talking on the podcast about how he could be like a breakout guy, like Daniel Jones, and then he got hurt, and I kind of put it like that got off the rails real quick. But
I wasn't on those episodes, I don't think.
No, you weren't. That was definitely that was before we had you on. I'm sure you would have talked some sense into both of us. But I don't know. I just feel like if Saquon is healthy and Daniel Jones is also healthy, I think that he's a nice little security blanket pass option for Daniel Jones, and he's a good pass catching guy, and those guys usually do well in fantasy, and Saquon was a top 5 guy his first 2 years in the league. So
yeah, no, I really like Saquon. I'm just top 5 after all those injuries and everything. It's just hard to trust when you're a running back, which means you're supposed to be able to take hits, and you're going to be hit. So,
and I just feel like he's going to be more healthy.
Game.
Yeah.
Well, I hope he is too. I just like how I look at it. Like I was telling you guys, if I'm being honest with myself, in the middle of a draft, can't put him at 5 for running back. But
no,
I do like him. I think he's right outside my top 10.
Gotcha.
I have him
not that high.
I have him at 10, and there's a handful of factors that went into it.
Okay.
Number one, he's going into a contract year. Okay, so he's got to play big to get a big new contract, either with New York or someone else. Number 2, he's got new coaches this year, new offense. All right, they got rid of the absolute shit show that existed last year for the Giants. Number 3, which I thought was even bigger for me, was that the Giants spent multiple picks within the top 4 rounds of the draft, beefing up their offensive line to help block, because that's been a big thing that they've been missing. And then I don't necessarily believe in Daniel Jones. So if all of those combined with Saquon, if he's healthy, now obviously all these lists that we're doing are if they're healthy, unless there are serious concerns. But that's why I have him at 10, because I think that all of those things combined, he could come back with another like big comeback year. I have him at 10. I definitely don't have him in the top 5.
I gotcha. I could see the absolute best scenario, which is what I pretty much looked at for these lists. Absolute best. I could see Barkley being top 5 if he
has the talent.
He's done it. He's done it before. So
absolutely.
Yeah,
so that's my thought process there. And then I'm sure you both want to ask me where the hell's Nick Chubb. So you can both ask me.
Well, I would bump David Montgomery down because I'm a little worried about.
Yeah.
He's gotten like a 80 to 90% opportunity share the last 2 seasons, and this new coaching staff, they come from Green Bay, and Green Bay only gave Aaron Jones, or let me read this again. Aaron Jones hasn't passed the 60% opportunity share since 2020, so I'm a little worried about. And there's obviously like good running backs on the Bears that they can use multiple. Do you know what I mean?
Abner has looked really good so far this year.
And we already know Khalil Herbert has talent too.
Absolutely.
So
yeah,
like
a 3-headed monster.
I don't know. I just feel like David Montgomery is by far the best pass catching back on the Bears. We saw in the first preseason game Khalil Herbert go 0 for 4 and on passes. He dropped all 4 passes thrown his way.
He did.
I think that showed us that Khalil Herbert isn't quite ready to be a number 1 guy yet. You know, I think Montgomery's got that locked, and I think they're. I don't know. I feel like Montgomery's the only one really to get excited about on the Bears offense. And I just wanted to put him at 8 and bump Nick Chubb off, because even as good as Nick Chubb is, he wasn't a top 10 running back last year or the year before. So I love Nick Chubb. I just feel like I think that there's this guy named Kareem Hunt that kind of stands in Nick Chubb's way from making him a top 10 running back, because Kareem Hunt gets a ton of
possible trade drama. I saw today.
I thought he was leaving.
Possible trade drama is what I saw.
Well, then that
today.
Changes things.
Which obviously it would with any running back when they're like when they do by committee. It's the same. We'd say the same thing about like if Aaron Jones was leaving, we'd be like, oh my god, you have to pick up AJ Dillon. Like, so, but if it actually comes to anything, we'll see. I don't know. I feel like Cleveland is just the revolving door of talent. Talent goes in, they go out. I mean,
I do still like Nick Chubb a lot. I could see him. He's like my number 11.
Understood.
And I could easily see him breaking the top 10. I really just wanted to and show everyone how highly I think of Montgomery for this season is really what I wanted to do. So, but I still think Nick Chubb could obviously be a top 10.
Understood.
He's not going to fuck you, dude.
Now, one guy I absolutely don't believe in is Dalvin Cook. I don't think he'll be a top 10. Again, he wasn't a top 10 last year either. And I feel like Minnesota,
he was hurt, though, right?
He got hurt, and he gets hurt. He gets hurt for a couple weeks every year that he's been in the league. And I feel like they have the best number 2 in the league. I feel like in Alexander Madison, that guy's a stud in his own right. And I feel like they're okay. I feel like they're okay giving Dalvin Cook some rest. So I just don't think Dalvin Cook. I just don't see top 10 for him. Even though I also like him, he'd be one that I'd be looking to draft for sure. But I don't know about top 10 for him. But he could.
He was RB 11 last year.
Yeah, he was number 11
with the injuries.
Even with the injuries, and he played through like a torn labrum and stuff.
Yeah. Well, you go ahead and go hit me.
Yes, but any other critiques?
No, I think we pretty much have it. I think I don't know. I think like the biggest question mark for me on yours, Jake, is just so for me, Najee Harris is like just outside my top 10. He's like, I was battling between having Saquon or him in for my 10, and I went with Saquon. Najee Harris absolutely can be a star. I just don't know how big of a star he can be with such possible piss-poor quarterback play in the future for the Steelers. I mean, they have to choose between a rookie in Pickett or Trubisky, who hasn't started since he was in Chicago. And who knows if he actually is any better than he was in Chicago. Obviously, everybody has looked and has been like, oh, well, maybe Trubisky was better than we thought just because of how bad we know Nagy is now. Mm-hmm. I don't really buy that. I think that Trubisky still is bad.
I always say that it was both of them. It was.
I think it was both. I don't think Trubisky is anywhere near the value that obviously he was gotten in the draft. I think that's pretty much a consensus across the board with everybody. He was not worth the second overall pick. Mm-hmm. I also don't believe that
he also wasn't a dumpster fire, though.
He was not, and I will say that he was not. So, but I'm just going to be curious. I don't know if Najee Harris top 5. I think he probably has the potential, but I just don't know. I definitely don't put him that highly up.
I don't know.
But
I just see all the volume for him,
For sure, absolutely.
They're gonna run him into the ground.
He was one of those guys for me that I just was like, I don't know if I can put him this high when I have all these other guys that are proven that can be on this list. Like proven running backs with proven, top 10 performances and points year in and year out versus a kid that absolutely could have it, but.
And then I also I like DeAndre Swift a lot too, but I didn't put him in my list because Detroit also drafted a running back in like the 3rd round or something. So I don't know if that means that they're wanting to go like more of a committee running back thing. So I just didn't know if I don't know if the volume would be there for Swift. So that's just something
23.
gave me a little pause. Well, Detroit drafted another running back this year in the draft, like in the 3rd round or something. So
yeah,
I don't know.
Someone to give him a breather.
Yeah, so we'll see. I don't know if they want to go more of a committee style. So a lot of teams are doing that. Like maybe they're trying to go like what San Francisco does, and they'll just throw 4 guys out there any given down.
True.
You know.
True.
Detroit says he looks bigger this summer than he did in past. He bulked up, and they said he's going to be a big part of the passing offense this year.
Okay, well maybe I'll eat my words on keeping DeAndre Swift out. We'll see, but all right, let me and then Kyle, you were just talking about me, so why don't you just go right over to Jake's?
Oh, I already did.
You guys are already on me.
Oh, you were doing Jake. Oh, okay. Yeah. So is that all you?
Najee Harris too high. You said I had Cook too high and Swift on the top 10. So okay. I think you guys got me. Thanks.
Which I also have Swift. I have Swift at 6. You had Swift at 9.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, Zach, is that your critique on Kyle, or?
My critique on Kyle, if we're gonna go to that now, over to Kyle. I can't really say too much because all these guys are very talented running backs, obviously.
Mm-hmm. This is probably the safest list.
Can't really argue any of these guys because we all have different guys. Pretty much our lists are different, but all these guys are super fucking talented. But the only thing is, Kyle, where the fuck is Alvin Kamara?
So that brings up a fabulous point. Currently, right now,
would you look at that?
Alvin Kamara is battling whether or not he's going to be suspended this season or next season.
Oh.
I don't know exactly what, but he's currently right now the NFL is looking to suspend him. I don't know why. I don't know. Was he in some kind of like domestic something?
Beat his wife or someone?
I don't know. I remember him being a part of something, but the NFL is looking at, and I was reading articles on that the NFL is still deciding on whether or not they're going to suspend him.
Felony battery case.
Yeah, so there you go. I knew it was something. He got into a fight with somebody. So they're still deciding whether or not his suspension will be this year or next year. And they said it could possibly be 2023, but that's why I put him out of the top 10, because without knowing exactly what that's going to be for that coming out yet, that's huge.
The trials keep being pushed back by his lawyers.
Interesting. So maybe it won't be this year.
They're trying to push it to next year, looks like you said.
In which case, then he would absolutely be in the top 10. But because I hadn't seen that exact information was saying that it could still possibly be this year, I kept him off my list. That is why.
Well, that makes a ton of sense. You don't have. Okay, well, I'm glad you don't have 2 heads, so that's good to know. Okay, well that makes a ton of sense. I did not know that. Thank you for that news.
This has been your news report.
We'll be watching the shit out of that one for sure before our draft. Oh my gosh!
Absolutely.
Well, we will have a late draft. So
we will. Yeah,
that's somebody's first round pick that could fuck somebody's season.
Absolutely, 100%, 100%.
Oh my gosh. And then, I like the sleepers. Obviously, I have ETN as my sleeper, and I have David Montgomery on my list. So I think that's I totally agree with those guys being breakout guys this year. And then rookie is rookie. You never know which one's going to be the one that is the stud. So
yeah, for sure.
We'll see on that. I think, good lists, everybody. We'll move on to receivers.
Well, I didn't critique it, but it's all right.
Oh no! Oh my God! I'm sorry. Yeah, Jake, go ahead.
Jeez, what a guy.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, I think we've already kind of hit a lot of it. So I would just, like we've said, move Saquon out of top 10 until he can prove it. I think it was 2019 when he had one good year. So he's been in the league 5.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not good enough for me to be top 10 right now.
I hear you.
See if his legs can hold.
Yeah, see if
you could get him. If you could get him, like if he falls, grab him. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not reaching.
Yeah, I don't necessarily. So like, I think it all depends on when your picks are. I think that Saquon. I don't view Saquon necessarily as a high, for sure not a high RB1. He's definitely a low end RB1 / like higher RB2.
So you take him in the second round? maybe.
If I have some of the guys, I legitimately, if I have any of the guys above him that I have on my board, I'm taking the other guys. Any of the 9 guys that I have above him, I'm taking. And even still, like, depending on kind of what happens with, like, obviously Alvin Kamara, and then, like, maybe even, like I said, I kind of struggle between him and Najee Harris as to, like, who I wanted, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe if Najee Harris is still available, maybe I go with Najee instead. But, like, I still think that talent-wise and all the other stuff that happened over this offseason for him, I think that possibly he could kind of get back to form a little bit to where he could hit top 10. But again, like you said, Jake, he's got to prove it. I just thought he was an interesting one that could possibly hit it again. We'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's hit wide receivers.
Let's do it.
Hit it,
All
Zach.
right. So, my top 10 wide receivers. All right, here it comes. Straight hot off the press. Number 10, Cortland Sutton. Number 9, CeeDee Lamb. Number 8, Tyreek Hill. Number 7, Stephon Diggs.
Nice.
Number 6, Michael Thomas. Number 5, AJ Brown. Number 4, Jamar Chase. Number 3, Justin Jefferson. Number 2, Devontae Adams. Number 1, Cooper Kupp. And then my breakout rookie, Christian Watson on the Packers. I think he's going to be their stud as the season goes along. And then my sleeper is my favorite guy to always talk about, Gabriel Davis, who I personally am responsible for him breaking out at the end of last year into the actual NFL playoffs. Personally responsible for that. So yeah, he's my guy.
For sure.
How many times did you talk about his name in the episodes last year, man? I mean, I feel it was every episode.
Yeah, a lot. He's my guy.
Understood. Hey, man, understood. Top of his fan club. Got it. All right, Jake, Let's hear the list. Let's
go. All right, I got Tyreek Hill at 10. A little worried about the QB situation there. AJ Brown at 9. I think bounce back year, and he's got better quarterback at the helm. 8, CeeDee Lamb, which I struggled to not put him over Mike Evans, but I just feel like I was reading something about Mike Evans was just low on the touchdowns last year, and he's definitely due this year to get more in the red zone. It's just kind of how it fell. He didn't get his much in the red zone. But obviously they have all the talent in the world to where he can be one of the guys that's wide open in the end zone for that team. Devontae Adams at 6. Deebo Samuel at 5 with Trey Lance there. I just had to bump him up. 4, Stephon Diggs. If we're all agreed that he's got the best quarterback, I think he definitely deserves top 5. 3, Jamar Chase. Again, with that improved line for Joe Burrow. I think he'll just keep doing what he was doing in his breakout last year. And this is a little trickier. Cooper Kupp at 2. I think it's hard to repeat a number 1 wide receiver year in fantasy. I think wide receiver is the most fluctuating position.
Absolutely.
Year to year.
Absolutely.
So I just can't see him doing number 1 again. But I still have him obviously really high. And then Justin Jefferson at number 1. I think he's proven that he could be the top wideout for years to come. Generational talent. And this could be his year. Rookie, Chris Olave. And then sleeper. Olave. Fuck that up. Sleeper, Cortland Sutton. I really believe in Cortland Sutton this year with the QB at the helm in Denver. I think he's got the talent. We've talked about him a lot last year, Zach, as like a second half guy or just a guy to have on your team because he could break out any time. And now he actually has a QB. So I'm pretty excited for him.
Okay.
He just didn't make my top 10 because it's still like there's so much talent at wide receiver. That's why it still fluctuates so much.
For sure.
Cool.
Got it. All right. My top 10, which, all right. Not going to lie. My number 10, I meant to change, and I forgot to change it. But I'm going to go with it, and then that's what we're going to go with. So, number 10, DJ Moore, Carolina. Then number 9, I have Michael Pittman Jr., Indy. Devontae Adams, I put at 8. CeeDee Lamb at 7. Mike Evans at 6. At 5, I have Deebo Samuel. At 4, Stephon Diggs. At 3, I have Justin Jefferson. At 2, I have Cooper Kupp because I completely agree, Jake, that it is so incredibly hard to repeat as the wide receiver champion. So number 1 this year, I have Jamar Chase. My rookie, the same one as Jake, Chris Olave. I think that he's just got so much talent. I mean, obviously he's super highly touted. I think he's one of those guys that we're going to see his name for years to come. I think that he, which we never truly know, but just looking at how everything that he's done in college, watching his highlights, I think that absolutely can be a star at the NFL level. And then for the sleeper, I have Allen Robinson, who is now on the Los Angeles Rams. So
ooh, I like that.
Yep, that's a good one.
Interesting for Keep that, I still have Cooper Kupp at 2, but I think that's also a big reason that I moved him down from 1 is that you have a big receiver who's going to be basically handcuffed, but you have a guy like Allen Robinson. I've said in the past, last year, that to have a big time number 1 wide receiver, you also have to have a big time number 2 receiver, because otherwise, we saw in Green Bay, they just basically double teamed Devontae Adams the entire time. Now they really can't do that with Cooper Kupp because they are going to get burned by Allen Robinson and his magical hands all game long if they give him the space. And Matthew Stafford has the arm and the talent to spread the wealth and go hit Allen Robinson if they're covering down Kupp. So those are mine.
A big number 2 is always good. So.
Absolutely.
All right, real quick. Okay. Wow. Derek Carr had the 5th most passing yards last year, and now he has Devontae Adams. So I just wanted to bring that back up.
That's true. He did almost throw for 5,000 yards.
Yes.
Just want to shit on you guys real quick. Because he did that without wide receivers. I mean,
are you saying that
one of his wide receivers died?
Oh, Jesus. Going back to...
Fuck.
And he's still almost at 5,000 yards, dude.
No, he didn't die. He killed somebody. He was driving his Corvette over 100 miles an hour. He killed somebody. He's in jail.
Yeah.
No, I thought he died.
He's in the slammer, like MC Hammer.
That's basically about the same thing that he's at right now.
Oh, dang.
His career is over. We'll say that. His career is over, and he will never return.
Yeah,
so
Ruggs.
It's basically the same shit. Yeah,
Henry Ruggs. Yeah, Ruggs. Rugster.
Buster Scruggs.
So are you saying that because we didn't have Carr in the top 10 QBs?
You said he didn't belong in the top 10 at all in mine. Yeah, I was just bringing that back up.
I mean he could be, but I just was saying you can't have him there and not have Tom Brady there. That's all I was saying.
It was not me because I think that Derek Carr absolutely could be top 10. I just had him out with all the ones that I had in there. I just had him right on the outside, but I think Derek Carr absolutely could be good. It wasn't me that said it.
I just forgot.
It was me.
I didn't realize he was 5th in passing yards with that.
Yeah, I mean that is pretty insane.
Not that good of a team.
That is pretty impressive.
Anyway,
I think
sorry,
much improved.
I sidelined it.
Time to shit on my receiver list, Jake.
Yeah, here we go. Michael Thomas, dude, come on. He's got okay. So first off, let me just explain. Chris Olave, New Orleans is saying that this is their guy. They're all in on him. He's obviously already proving to be really good. And then counterpoint to even just that, Chris Olave taking over as possibly the number 1. New Orleans just don't they have a QB issue? Like they might not have a great offense.
It's gonna be
if you don't have a great offense
again.
It's gonna be that. It's gonna be that guy. What's his name? No, the quarterback.
I'm pretty sure it's gonna be Winston again.
Yeah, Winston. It's gonna be Winston, and he's proven he's thrown 5,000 yards in the past. So if he has a good receiver,
50 touchdowns along with 50 interceptions.
But he's. I mean, he needed that. He needed that laser surgery.
I think usually the top 5.
No, he did. Remember, that was the whole thing. Like he couldn't see well.
The memes were so good. It's like, oh hey, I guess there's not like 30 of my guys down the field or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, it was so great.
It was so good. I don't know. Listen, Winston is nothing like Drew Brees. So I think that I have to see Winston play before I will say that Michael Thomas can play, because Michael Thomas can go out there and run the best routes in the whole world. If Winston can't get him the ball because it got intercepted, it doesn't quite matter.
No, I know. It's a big projection for sure. I knew you guys would be talking about that one, but I don't know. I believe that Michael Thomas is, I mean, we haven't seen him for 2 years, but Michael Thomas is still talented and he's still very good. He still had 150 receptions. He can, if he's healthy for a whole season, he's a lock for 1,400 yards.
Yeah, but he had those receptions where Drew Brees could only throw so far, and he was doing a bunch of slant routes. He's not just going to have that again.
Yeah,
and
I know, but
he's also got an extreme attitude problem.
We'll
see. That if you're a team, like when you're throwing the ball or deciding on plays, like that does come into effect, and they'll probably go with the rookie. And I think just back to the QBs, if you're going to be a top 10 receiver, you usually have like a top 15 QB.
For sure. Those two absolutely go hand in hand, for sure.
So I'd just be a little worried. But other than that,
but I mean,
it's a really good list.
I'll throw a wrench in that theory, though. Allen Robinson had 2 1,200-yard, over 1,000-yard seasons with Trubisky. So,
but he wasn't a top 10
wide
receiver during those seasons, though. He had good seasons, but he wasn't top 10 fantasy in those seasons, though.
Yeah, no,
I have to go back and look, because I don't know that for sure. But I wouldn't think that he would have been top 10 receiver. I don't think that's
true. But also, Winston could be a top 10. Has the potential. He was a top 10 when he threw for 5,000 yards, I think. So,
maybe. But that's my only critique, because I like most of the rest of the guys. Like most of ours are pretty close. Are you missing Debo? Are you missing Debo?
I don't have Debo on there.
Okay. Well, my critique was Michael Thomas. So you go ahead, Kyle.
Yeah.
I basically piggybacked you off of that one.
Okay.
Because the only other thing is that I don't necessarily trust Tyreek Hill in Miami with Tua throwing the ball.
I'm a little worried.
I'm a little worried on that, and because of that, and honestly, because of all the talent, truly, that is there, to pick top 10 was so unbelievably hard.
Yeah.
So, obviously, maybe if I had actually remembered to take DJ Moore off my top 10, maybe I would have had Tyreek there. But other than that, I basically piggybacked off of Michael. I think that one's a little too high. I think he's out top 10. I think he for sure could be, top 20, top 15. I don't necessarily know about top 10 with how up and down Jameis Winston is. I think that all these other guys that like we have on our lists have much more stable quarterbacks who can throw a better ball. That'll be more reliable through the season.
Yeah, I just wanted to give you guys some shock and awe. Wanted to.
You for sure shocked.
You're not gonna.
Oh God.
You're not just gonna come into this podcast and do a top 10 wide receiver list and there not be some debatable topics.
Oh my God.
Well, you found one apparently.
I also don't have Debo, and I feel like more so than who else don't I have? I don't have Mike Evans. I don't have Debo.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't have Mike Evans. I don't know. I could see him having a step back because he's kind of a touchdown dependent receiver, and I don't know how easy. I don't think that's an easy thing to replicate, touchdowns. But he is one of the best ones in the league at scoring touchdowns, though. He is a very good touchdown receiver. You can usually count on him for that. I just don't know in a third year in a row if he's going to be hitting over 10 touchdowns,
Yeah, I was wrong on the touchdowns last year.
But that's the only thing. I love Mike Evans. Yeah, he's crazy. He's a great one of the best touchdown wide receivers in the league. He's almost like a tight end with that almost. But I could see him being just out of the top 10 if he just has a little bit of a down year in touchdowns, which could happen. So because he's getting another year older, and all that, and he's not a yardage guy. He's a touchdown guy. So I could see him not making the top 10. Debo, but if Michael Thomas doesn't,
so if everybody listening, Zach's critiquing my list now.
No, I'm saying that's why I don't have Mike Evans on mine. But Michael Thomas I could take out and put Deebo Samuel there, and I could see that being a thing. I just wanted to believe in Michael Thomas for this list. So
understood. Hey, this is why we all have our lists.
And then I think Gabe Davis is going to be a household name by the end of the season.
Obviously, that's a given.
Get the fuck out of here, Kyle. Yeah, maybe in Buffalo.
He is a household name in Buffalo. But not everybody else really knows too much about him. But I think he's going to be the number 2 receiver, and I think he's going to be on a lot of fantasy teams by week 5.
This wasn't blow your list. This was critique list.
No, it's. I just want to defend my Gabriel Davis.
For sure. No, we didn't even critique it.
Yeah, we didn't. Yeah, he's defending it for no reason.
So he tooted his own horn here.
Yeah. Well, no, I just think he's the number 2 receiver. So
I just wanted to talk about how
on the best offense in the league.
I love Gabriel.
All right. So, anyways.
Make sure that everybody goes on to the Garden of Sports Twitter page to see Zach's tattoo on his ass of Gabriel Davis's face.
Are you guys done critiquing my list? I can move on to critiquing Jake's.
Yeah, I figured you were going to start with Mike Evans.
No, I'm not critiquing Mike Evans. That's fine. I actually don't critique it. But actually, I it's fine to have him on your list. I just don't think he's going to be top 10. But I could see why you put him there. I can't really argue it. He's been top 10. I just could see a little bit of a down year in touchdowns potentially. And then
it was a safer pick.
Deebo Samuel. I'm just worried about injuries with him, the way they use him. And then I'm just pretty high in Cortland Sutton.
I like Deebo because he's actually got a good quarterback this year. So I just made me more high on him, but obviously he's got a little bit of injury risk.
Other than that, I mean, I think we're pretty much got a lot of the same guys. And then, I don't know. Want to move on to Kyle's?
Well, Kyle's going to get me
there. Or Kyle's going to critique. Kyle critique Jake.
Really hard. I think, literally, Jake, I think yours and mine from 8 up has all the same guys. They're just maybe a little bit different order.
Okay. Yeah.
I had A.J. Brown in my list, and then just I dropped him on my 10. The only reason is because Devontae Smith on the Eagles truly, I believe, is going to be a great wide receiver. Now that he's going into his sophomore year, I think that he can probably take another step, along with the better quarterback play that I think that Jalen Hurts is going to provide to the Eagles. So that's why I took Brown out of the top 10, because with Hurts being able to run the ball like he does, we know that he's got an arm and he can sling it, but I feel like Devontae Smith is going to take that wide receiver 1 with his talent. I feel like Devontae Smith could take that wide receiver 1 spot, even though we know that's A.J. Brown. He's kind of has some – last year was kind of rough for him, though. So
he was playing hurt.
For sure he was.
Hurt, and then he came back hurt.
Well, it's not necessarily a critique. It's more like I had him out of the top 10 for that, but I have him in the next, just out of the top 10. Let's the next 5, up to 15. I have him. But that would be my only thing. Other than that, our list is almost exactly the same.
Yeah, I think my own biggest critique is probably Tyreek Hill. I struggled to even put him on there. Yeah. Just because of his quarterback, I'm a little worried. But
I just don't trust Tua. I really don't.
He's so fast that he could just make his own plays. And
right. Are they just going to use him for slant routes instead of go routes? Is that what Miami's going to try and do to be able to still get him the ball? He's an incredible playmaker. It all relies on Tua being able to get him the ball, though, legitimately. So,
all
right. Let's take a look at my list, you two. Now,
yes,
remember,
sir.
I meant to delete DJ Moore.
Yeah, okay. I think Michael Pittman at number 9 then. If you don't want us to attack DJ Moore, it'd be Michael Pittman. I just don't know.
I don't see top 10.
Yeah, just with how talented we've said the position is and everything. And his quarterback still being a question mark. Matt Ryan, can he get him the ball enough to make him that relevant? It's going to be tough.
For sure.
I like. Let's just say I like Michael Pittman. I see at his best top 15.
Yep.
Yeah. No, understood. And I think that that's probably closer, where I have him at 9, I think is probably like hot, like ceiling,
But I
like
see what you
like,
did, though. You just got him on there so we could talk about it, get the conversation
for
going.
sure. I think that he has the talent for it. And what I really liked is I was reading an article on just like Matt Ryan and the Colts and everything, and they were saying that the connection between Ryan and Pittman they said is like incredibly strong, and that they are running on the same wavelength. Maybe that translates into some really good play. We'll see. I think that I would not put him any higher than 9. I think 9 is probably a little too generous, but I know that he's a talented dude. So
definitely,
yeah.
It's cool to have him on there. Somebody different to talk about, though, for sure. Discussion's sake.
Absolutely.
So I like that for that. So, and maybe he could. Who knows how strong that connection will be? It could be a total shock.
Right. You never know. We'll see.
For sure. Nice, to be sure. But
God, I love that Star Wars one. Okay,
so good.
All right,
I don't know.
That was pretty good. Yeah, let's do tight ends. I like tight ends.
I don't really have too much else to debate on Kyle's list. It's the same as pretty much Jake's. So I said all that already.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
I definitely.
Okay.
The only thing I'll add, I do believe in Allen Robinson too as a sleeper for sure. I mentioned that on the last football episode. So
I've picked Allen Robinson as a sleeper. A lot of experts, quotation mark, have been putting Allen Robinson as a bust this year, though, which is
really
just surprising to me. Just everything I've been reading is like different bust lists. There's a lot of stuff out there, but
yeah,
a lot of the experts, quote unquote, are just saying he's just not going to do it. I guess. I thought he was a sleeper. Also,
yeah,
for sure.
He's a sleeper.
I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like you
don't reach for him, but you get him.
Yeah, you get him fourth round.
Oof. Well,
yeah,
maybe not that early.
I think that he's one of those guys that absolutely could be, if you're desperate for your wide receiver too, because there's a lot that are off the board. I think that he's a safer pick than maybe some of the other names that would probably still be left at that point, but. I'm surprised that they're saying he's a bust. I don't know. Like, he definitely wasn't a bust. Well, I mean, fantasy-wise, he wasn't really even a bust with Trubisky, because I had him one of the years I went to the championship, and he was one of my he was I think it was my wide receiver 1 and was carrying me, and it's Trubisky throwing him the ball. So
yeah.
Anyway, enough. Let's move on to tight ends. Would you like me to start tight ends?
Sure.
I have a tight end. All right.
Number
10. I think it's so funny we all have the same number 10. But Cole Kmet, number 10. Number 9, Zach Ertz. Number 8, I have Dallas Goedert. At number 7, Darren Waller. Dalton Schultz for me is at 6. TJ Hawkinson is at 5. Kyle Pitts at 4. Mark Andrews at 3. I have George Kittle at 2 and Travis Kelce at 1. Rookie,
this Kelce guy. Who's that?
Kelce guy. For my rookie, I don't know how quite to say his name, but Greg Dulcich, I think is maybe how you say it, in Denver. And then the sleeper, Pat Freiermuth from Pittsburgh. Those are my guys.
Very nice. Very nice. Jake?
Yes, 10 Cole Kmet. I think he barely bumped Ertz for me just with being an upside play. And this is actually the guy, I think I was just mixing up where I read this, but Cole Kmet's the guy who was due for way more touchdowns than he got none last year. So he's got one of the best strength of schedules for tight ends. So I like his upside. I really think he could pass Ertz at this point. But that was where I was close between those two. 9, Dawson Knox. These three, the 3 Ds.
Triple D here.
Hard for me to pick, but this is how I came through. 9, Dawson Knox. 8, Dalton Schultz. 7, Dallas Goedert, whatever. Goddard. It's just Goddard. 6, TJ Hawkinson. I think that's a pretty easy one with that mid-range there. 5, Kyle Pitts. Huge upside, extreme athletic player, new QB. Possibly 2 new QB options, but I think it's going to be better for him. 4, Darren Waller, been consistent tight end. He will get less touches, I guess, with Devontae Adams there, but still obviously a freak of nature. 3, Mark Andrews. 2, Travis Kelce. 1, George Kittle. I put George Kittle over Kelce this year because Kelce now is the only option in Kansas City, and Kittle finally has a good QB at the helm, so I think that combo gives Kittle a chance to take the number 1 spot instead of Kelce this year. Mm-hmm. But obviously, that could be a stretch, but that's how I played it out. Rookie, Jelani Woods on the Colts. The Colts don't really have a good tight end. Moelle Cox he's a big guy, but he's just not that great. So this guy could easily take over.
They're really impressed with Jelani Woods in camp too.
Yeah, and I do know
he's a big guy.
I think they grabbed 2 tight ends in the draft, and the other one's good too, but I picked Woods. And then sleeper, how do you say this guy's name? Pat
Freiermuth.
So he was the number 2 tight end last year. I was reading this crazy stat, and he was behind like Ebron, I think, or one of the old heads at tight end that they signed for like 1 year in Pittsburgh. But now that guy's gone, and Pat's the main one there, so he's going to be the main tight end. And I think after like whenever he did take over for a bit after like week 7, I'll have to find the stat for you guys, but yeah, we'll come back to mine. I'll tell you the stat.
Yeah,
go ahead, Zach.
Then, yeah. You better find that stat.
Save that stat. Save that stat.
I got the stat, dude.
All right. So
wait. I got it.
Oh, you got it.
Okay. Well, he's got it, guys.
So after week 6, after Eric Ebron got injured, Pat became the tight end 7 from that time forward, averaging 11.3 fantasy points per game.
Wow.
Damn. So, yeah, I guess he did go on a tear because I remember I wanted him, and then someone else picked him up, and he was just going off, and I was so upset because I put him in. I put in for waivers. I think I was like 3rd in waivers, and I still lost him. I was like, "You got to be kidding me!" And then of course, he went off because I didn't get him.
Yeah, right.
So that's crazy. So I think this is another guy I struggled with over Cole Kmet or not, but ultimately Cole Kmet has the upside.
I think
more
so
upside
too.
Maybe, but Pat did get number 7 for after week 6 with the 7th.
Yeah,
pass.
but catching from Big Ben and not Pickett or Trubisky, so
right.
He's got the potential, and that's why
those balls.
That's why
will those balls make it
now
to
he's
him?
the number, and now he's the number 1. So we'll see.
Right.
Go ahead, Zach.
A lot of contested balls coming his way.
Oh my gosh.
All right. Number 10, Cole Kmet. Number 9, Robert Tonyan. Number 8, Dalton Schultz. Number 7, Kyle Pitts. Number 6, Dawson Knox. Number 5, TJ Hawkinson. Number 4, Darren Waller. Number 3, George Kittle.
What are you, a robot?
Number 2, Mark Andrews. Number 1, Travis Kelce. And then my rookie, Cade Otton on Tampa Bay. I think there's some opportunity there, potentially, maybe, question mark. And then my sleeper, Mike Gesicki, with Tua having his breakout season that I've predicted. So,
nice.
All right, let the negativity flow.
Hey, yes, let's just debate Kyle's real quick.
Okay, yeah, let's do that. Yeah, I like this.
Well, we started with Kyle, so
okay.
I don't know, dude. Ours is pretty similar. So I guess the easy one is knocking Zach Ertz off for me.
Mm-hmm.
I think with Kyler Murray having a bit of trouble without his wide receiver, like we talked about, it's going to really hurt Zach Ertz the first 6 weeks, and we'll see what happens after that. And obviously, he's been a big injury risk the past couple of years, if I'm not mistaken. So,
yeah,
I'd bump him out of the top 10 for me. That's all.
I'd bump him out of the top 10. I like Zach Ertz as like a second tight end that you can put in as a flex sometimes option for this season. I still like him for fantasy. I think there's some value there. Mm-hmm. I'm not drafting him as my number 1 tight end, and I don't know if he'll be in that top 10. He'll be close though, maybe still. But I don't know. There's just a little enough pause there that he gives me where I'm just like, I don't know. He's with his age and injury stuff.
For sure. Yeah.
So do you have any other?
I liked that he obviously is going to be one of the only targets that Kyler Murray is going to be able to trust. So I thought that probably he gets a little bit of increased usage. And obviously he's just a big guy with really good hands. But no, I can totally understand that also that he does have a lot more of a liability risk to him than a few other names like Dawson Knox. I think that Dawson Knox is probably like a safer pick than Zach Ertz. Zach Ertz has probably a higher ceiling, I think, but has more of a risk to him. So totally understood.
Other than that, I don't really have too much. Tight end is pretty much that is tight end is tight end. Like like thinking of 10 guys to even put on a top 10 list at tight end is kind of tough. And after you get past the first like 3, it's like, okay, who do I pick here now?
Well, I wouldn't agree.
There was, I think, a top 15 because there's been a lot more talent recently. Like,
I don't know. It's just because like there's 3 studs, and then after that, everybody's pretty much almost the same.
Yeah, but you want to try to get one in the top 5.
Like you can stream tight end. You can stream tight end if you don't get like one of the stud 3.
I wouldn't say that. You still want to try to get a top 10 to top 5 tight end.
Well, yeah. Of course, that's what you're trying to do, but
doesn't always happen. But
it's hard. But I feel like tight end is always risky. You have the top 3 that are guaranteed production. The other ones is kind of still wishy-washy and can change on a week-to-week basis.
That's what I'm kind of saying. That's what I was kind of getting at.
I think it's more talented now. I think there was those top 3, but then all of a sudden these guys have been popping up all over the league that can really contend to be in the top 5, or even break the top 3 if like Mark Andrews doesn't catch as many touchdowns this year. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like the 3Ds, like Dalton Schultz, Dallas Goedert, Dawson Knox, like those guys are all new and I think pretty reliable at this point.
Yeah.
I don't think you could say they're all unreliable after 3 anymore.
Yeah. Oh, they are. I don't really have too much to critique other than Zach Ertz, but and I think that's really the thing. I mean, Jake, do you have anybody else you'd critique?
No, I said Ertz and you just copied, so.
I mean, yeah. And then I don't really have too much to critique for Jake's.
Really?
If we're going to move over to Jake's, I don't know. Yeah. I don't have Dallas Goedert on my list, but I'm not going to critique you guys for putting him on though. So I'm not going to contest it. I mean, I can see why he's on the list. So this is a good top 10 list too, both of you guys.
Yeah.
I can see the sleeper for Fryer. I can see the sleeper for Freiermuth. I just think I think I'm a little more high on Gesicki if Miami really has a breakout offense.
Yeah.
So you guys can attack me now.
I'll look at both of you at the same time. I guess he has been uber reliable. I just don't know if he's top 5 given now that Devontae Adams is there and that's Waller, of course me talking about Waller, and that's the only reason why I had him out of top 5. I think he's still top 10. I just don't know with Devontae Adams being there, being such the sure-handed and just lights out receiver that he is and being an old-time college teammate with Derek Carr, who already had a whole bunch of connection with him, and now he's back and everything, and they're getting the old team, they're getting the band back together. Is that going to take away from Darren Waller's, especially his red zone production, because Derek Carr is going to be like old times, throwing to the end zone over to Devontae Adams? I don't know. So that honestly is my only thing off of both of you, and honestly that's me like picking at straws. I can't find anything else in your list to yell at either of you about. Maybe Zach I could.
I did almost drop him because of the exact thing you said. I just think he's still more athletically gifted than the guys below him.
Gotcha. Understood.
Yeah, he's very fast. I like the speed was what separates him, I think.
Walrus.
Yeah. But yeah, that's a good point though. Point taken, Kyle, for sure. I could see him dropping down from 4. I could see it, but definitely still top 10 though, like you say. Yeah, it's a good point.
And then mine for you, Zach. I don't know about Tunyon. I'm not gonna lie.
I figured someone would say something. All right. Yeah, finish your thought there.
The only thing is that he's one of the only returning receivers. One of the returning guys to catch balls from Aaron Rodgers. Does that mean that he's going to have a better rapport with Rodgers in the red zone? And on big down plays compared to others. I had Tunyon last year, and he was hot and cold to say the least. There was times where Rodgers wasn't throwing him the ball at all. He'd get only one or two receptions a game. But now the other person who was getting 11 to 15 is now gone. So what will this offense look like? So I think there's maybe the potential.
That's why I feel like gives more potential for Tunyon to be a top 10. Because even when he was fringe top 10 2 years ago, he was still hot and cold. He would just catch touchdowns. That's what brought him into that top 10 discussion,
Right.
That season, at least. And I think, I don't know, just the fact that he does have rapport with Rodgers, and Rodgers does like the tight end if he has a good one over his career. He'll get the ball to the tight end. I don't know. I like the upside of Tunyon. I think you could see top 10 possibly for him. I don't think it's an outlandish thing to say. And I don't know. I just think that you can also Tunyon could be your last pick, and he could be a stud tight end this season.
Yep. I read it's an awful strength of schedule for Tunyon at the tight end position is bad. And then I like guys like you have Mike Gesicki is your sleeper. I like him over Tunyon. I like Pat Freiermuth. I like Hunter Henry over Tunyon.
Okay.
So a couple guys just above him.
Yep. I like to have the one in there that you guys go ooh. I like to have the shock.
But otherwise, all of our lists, like you guys have said, all our lists are pretty similar.
You're putting people in there on purpose just to.
No, I really do think Tunyon. I really do think Tunyon could be top 10, but a lot of things would have to go right for sure. It would have to be a perfect season for him. But
it's also Aaron Rodgers though, so you never know if he becomes his main receiver, he could be.
If they get a connection going, that's how you could see the top 10.
Right.
So.
All right, good stuff. Let's go to Jake. Why don't you start this one off? You haven't started one yet.
Oh yeah. Defense. Fun stuff here, guys. This is where everybody tunes out. So
hell yeah.
10 I got Cowboys, 9 Chargers, 8 New Orleans Saints, 7 Denver Broncos, 6 New England Patriots, 5 the Rams, 4 Indianapolis Colts, 3 Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 2 San Francisco 49ers, 1 Buffalo Bills. Sleeper is the Dolphins.
Okay. Oh, damn, I didn't even realize we picked the same sleeper. God damn.
Yeah, I didn't actually. My bad.
All right, that's right. You want me to go, Zach?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, here we go. 10, I have the Chargers. At 9, I have Green Bay. 8, I have Denver. 7 is New England. 6 is Indy. 5 is New Orleans. 4 is Los Angeles Rams. I have Tampa Bay at 3. I have San Fran at 2. And then I also have Buffalo at 1, with my sleeper also being Miami.
Okay. You guys didn't put a rookie defense. What's going on?
Yeah.
Is that what you call Houston? They're a rookie defense?
Yeah.
Oh,
Very nice. Very nice. And then I am... Okay, so... Jeez. Okay, here's my list. Number 10, Cleveland.
Okay.
The Cleveland Steamers. Number 9, LA Rams. Number 8, Baltimore Ravens. Number 7, Green Bay Packers. Number 6, 49ers. Number 5, Buccaneers. Number 4, LA Chargers. Number 3, Patriots. Number 2, Steelers. And number 1, Buffalo Bills.
Okay.
And my sleeper is the Bears defense, because I'm liking what I'm seeing from these rookies they drafted.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
All right.
Critique mine first. I'll try to find all my notes here on different teams. If you guys want to go ahead.
In my personal experience, I'm not a fan of the Saints defense.
Okay.
They're always highly ranked, but that doesn't tell the whole story because I think they usually finish in the top 5. But
they're fifth last year.
They usually finish somewhere in the like very high, but they have maybe 5 or 6 weeks that they score like 20 points and then like pretty shit outside of that.
Okay.
It's like you're hoping for and they usually run up the defensive score against like bad teams. They're one of those teams where they'll play a bad team because they're in the NFC South. And they'll have a game where they get like 4 interceptions and like 6 sacks, and then they'll go play a good team and they'll give up a shit ton of points. And I don't know. That's why they're not a sexy pick. Let's just say that.
They're not a sexy pick.
I wouldn't put them in the top 10 just for that reason, but I could see them still being top 10. I just don't like the Saints defense just from experience. I pick them up on waivers because they're like the number 2 defense, and then they score me like -5.
Sounds like you just. Sounds like it's personal for you.
It sounds like you picked them up during the one bad game. You should have kept it to the next week when they came back and had positive points.
I can't buy the Broncos. I don't like that. I don't like that this season.
Broncos?
And then other than that, though, those would be my. I don't think they're that great. I don't think I don't know. Maybe I haven't read enough, but I don't know. Not a fan of their defense.
I switch the Saints and Broncos at bare minimum for sure. Like move the Broncos down a bit.
Yeah. Other than that, no. I like the Colts. I forgot to put I was thinking about taking the. I think I'm actually going to do that. I'm going to take the Browns off my list and put the Colts there because I did this list while I was driving. I did this list while I was driving home, and I forgot about the Colts defense. So I'm going to take Cleveland off. So I know you guys probably had that one lined up to ream me with, but
no, I didn't actually. That wasn't mine that I was going to pick.
Okay.
There's really nothing I could say against Jake. Because any of the teams that I say against Jake are basically all the same fucking teams that I have. And all the way down to the sleeper. So I can't even go to like the sleeper for like an easy one there. The only thing is like I kept Indy out of the top 4 because you have Matt Eberflus as well as the defensive backs coach that both came over to Chicago in the offseason. So you have a completely different. So I took them out of the top 5 for that reason. I still think they have absolutely the talent to be top 10. I just didn't like them top 5, and that's honestly me nitpicking. Other than that, though, there's nothing else I can really say against your list.
All right.
Yeah, they did lose their defensive coach. They finished 3rd last year. But yeah, it's kind of like when the Bears lost their defensive coach, they could fall off a little bit. So
yeah,
definitely agree. Maybe I would move them lower. Yeah.
So, but I mean, I didn't even go much lower. I put them at 6, because I think the talent is still good enough. But I thought that they might degress a little bit just because I feel like no matter what, when you lose a coach that's doing a good job and you switch coaches, I feel like just it's inevitable. The percentage that they go down.
Now I'm kind of liking Zach Sleeper a lot more because I'm the defensive coordinator as the coach.
I think the Bears are going to have a sneaky defense that a lot of people won't see coming.
You think top 10 though? I mean,
Sleeper.
No, not top 10, but I think they'll have some good weeks where people will be like, oh, maybe pick the Bears defense up. They have an easy schedule too, so that helps.
They do have an easy schedule.
So
it made me like it more.
It could be like a streamer.
Yeah, definitely.
Like a
streamer at best.
They'll enter the conversation. You'll be thinking about them.
Yeah, maybe when they're playing like a real bad team, and you're like, okay, maybe I can pick them up and do them because honestly, I can't tell you how many years I've had to stream defenses, either defenses or tight ends. That always seems to be my one that I have to stream kind of week to week.
Yeah, they're very streamable positions for sure.
I think. Yeah, they have their strength of schedule is rated 1 out of 5 stars, so they're not. They probably are just a stream this year, but still interesting.
Yes. I think.
All right.
I think all right. So I guess we did Zach there a little bit.
You did me. Who went second? Kyle?
I went second. Yeah, I went second.
What would I critique? What would I
don't know.
critique?
Our list is basically the same. What do you want to do?
Ours are actually really close.
They are really similar.
You have, I guess, the Saints higher than me, the Colts higher than me. Wait, no, Colts are lower than me.
Yeah.
Yeah, after reading a bit more about Denver and then what Zach said, I think I would also move them lower on both our lists. But yeah, like you said, ours are pretty close. So
there.
And just to say something about yours, Jake, I think I think you should read a little more on Green Bay's defense. A lot of people are very high on them, so I begrudgingly put them on my top 10 list.
They're right. I see them at a rank 11 on a list I'm looking at.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, that's still good, I guess, but I don't know. A lot of people are really raving about the Packers' defense going into this year. They have the youngest defense in the league. They don't have a starter on their defense. At
this
age
could have been
30
your
or
rookie
older.
defense.
Everybody's 29 years or younger on that defense.
All right. Well,
so they got a lot of young, fast guys. I guess they're saying.
Zach, you want to critique Kyle's or just me?
I mean, my critique of Kyle's will be the same as yours.
He's got Green Bay though.
But
I have him at 9.
Saints a little too high for me. I think. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
They have a tough schedule. They're in a tough ass division now.
Let's go get Zachy Gates.
Yeah, get me.
Neither of us have Baltimore on our list. I noticed that.
No, yeah, I have honestly haven't.
Baltimore finished 25th last year.
I know they finished. They sucked, but they lost like 6 or 7 starters on defense in like the preseason last year, and they have those guys coming back now for this season when they were like a top 10 defense the year before.
Expect them to regain top 5 form sooner than later.
Yeah, that's what I kind of thought. I thought a bounce back because they're getting all their starters back.
Their projections aren't still that great.
Yeah.
They probably wouldn't make the top 10 for me.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I believe in it because they lost stud players on their defense last year. Like their best players.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I like how this guy puts on this one is like week 1 they play the Jets. Okay. Week 2 they play the Dolphins. You're trying to tell me that, I mean, like, I don't know. I feel like the Dolphins this year, with all the talent they have, I don't necessarily think are blowovers anymore. Mm-hmm. So them saying like, oh, they have an easy start. I don't know about the Dolphins being easy. The Jets for sure though. So I mean, if you're like in the last, I think if you're in like the last round, and Baltimore's still there, or you don't have a defense yet, and you're one of the last 2 rounds, I mean, your week 1 is going to be a great stream to put Baltimore in there, and then if you end up picking up somebody else, then whatever. But yeah, other than that, my only thing, one for you, Zach, was that the Patriots you have at 3.
Mm-hmm.
I have them at 7. I don't know. I haven't dove too much into them. I did a little bit while making this list. I didn't necessarily read anything that made me think top 5, but I don't know.
I mean, they were top 5
second last year.
And the year before that, they were decent. And they were number 1 3 years ago.
Yeah, 2 years ago is when guys sat, like, the whole defense sat out.
Yeah.
The COVID
I don't know. Their defense is usually really good. I can see top 5 again.
All right. Hey, we're used to it, honestly, at this point, watching New England. So that's why Tom Brady has so many rings in the defense.
The projections for this year are not great, though, compared to what they did last year.
Okay.
Not the projections matter, but their points, they're ranked 12th in the projections, sacks 15th, interceptions 6th, fumbles 18th, TDs 16th.
Okay.
So did they lose a bunch of guys or something? Am I missing something?
No,
here?
I don't think so.
Because last year they finished 2nd, so why would they be so downranked?
Sure.
I don't know. I think still have them on my list. I have to look more into it. I think they're still pretty good. Pretty damn good.
All right. I think we're good on defense.
And then I also got the Steelers up there too. I don't know if you guys wanted to say something about that.
Not really. Steelers defense is usually always good, especially that they got Tomlin. I mean,
Steel curtain.
At this point, I'm not necessarily surprised whenever I see that the Steelers are absolutely killing it on defense. Offense would be a different story, but I'm never usually surprised to see the Steelers defense high up. So honestly, that's not what I'm necessarily going to argue. Tomlin's obviously got it figured out.
It's going to be a bounce back year. Last year, they finished 18th.
Yeah.
This year, they're projected pretty high.
Yeah, I think they're going to do well. It's Tomlin. He's got the defense in lock, honestly, and that's his one downfall is that the offense he's never really had to worry about because he's always had Big Ben being able to lead it. Now, you wonder if is this the beginning of the end of Tomlin in Pittsburgh? You never know. You know, if you look back and you're like, see, this is what led to it. But, I don't know.
Right.
We'll see.
Yeah.
All right, we're almost there.
Round it up, boys.
Let's go to kickers. Zach, your turn to start it off.
All right. Kickers, everybody's favorite section. Hope you're all still listening. Kicker talk. Welcome back to the Fantasy Football Kicker podcast.
That's everyone's favorite
part. So number 10, Matt Gay. Number 9, Ryan Suckup. Number 8, Chris Boswell. Number 7, Young Ho Koo. Number 6, Tyler Bass. Number 5, Jake Elliott. Number 4, Rodrigo Blankenship. Number 3, Evan McPherson. Number 2, Harrison Butker. And number 1, old reliable Justin Tucker. And then my sleeper for the Bears, if they're going to be a decent offense, maybe, potentially. Cairo Santos.
Okay. All right.
10, I got Robbie Gold. 9, Nick Folk. 8, Rodrigo Blankenship. 7, Evan McPherson. 6, Ryan Suckup. 5, Harrison Butker. 4, Daniel Carlson. 3, Matt Gay. 2, Tyler Bass. 1, Justin Tucker. And my sleeper is Dustin Hopkins.
Okay.
Very nice.
Mine, for 10, I have Young Ho Koo. 9, Rodrigo Blankenship. 8, Matt Prater. 7, Nick Folk. 6, I have Harrison Butker. 5, I have Matt Gay. 4, the always reliable, I've had 2 years in a row now, Daniel Carlson, who has been the backbone of my team sometimes. 3, Tyler Bass. And then I have Justin Tucker at number 2, and I have a new number 1 in Evan McPherson this year, with my sleeper being Brandon McManus of Denver.
Nice.
So let's look at yours, Zach.
Okay.
The one that popped out most to me when you said it that I kind of like squinted my eyes at was Chris Boswell. However, after thinking about it, I can understand why maybe you put him out, especially because he might be getting far more attempts this year as compared to years past.
Yeah, I was just seeing, I looked at the offense, and that looks like a field goal offense, you know?
So I can understand where you're at for him. That was just like the one that I kind of squinted, but after thinking about it a little bit, I can understand. Ryan, honestly, I don't know anything about Ryan Suckup this year.
He's just a Tampa Bay kicker, you know?
Yeah, reliable.
I think old reliable, especially with Brady. You know, because I think Brady's going to have a standout year again this year. I think that he could be top 10 and maybe even top 5, depending on if he just goes all out like, okay, this year's my last year, and then just throws the ball as hard as he can. So those would be my only 2, but I can understand why you put both of them where they're at. So
I gotcha.
For me, I think this is one for both of you guys, is Young Ho Koo.
Yep.
He is a good kicker. I'm just worried about the offense actually moving the ball. And so that kind of pushes him outside the top 10 for me. Like, I don't know if he'll get enough chances compared to some other guys.
I feel like they're a running team, and they're a field goal offense, and they're in a dome, which means he has potential to kick longer field goals with no weather or anything. Mm-hmm. So and then in the NFC South, there's a lot of domes. So
a lot of domes. Yeah, I don't know he's got a talented leg. He's one of those guys that can kick it from a long way pretty accurately. What did I have? I had a ridiculous stat. He was 93% on all field goals attempted last year. I don't remember how many. I didn't write down how many he actually had, but I think that they're a field goal team at best. I don't think that they're a touchdown
87
team.
of 94 in 3 years.
Damn.
Yeah, that's pretty damn good.
It's pretty good. And then last year, 93.
They still had wide receivers into QB.
And he's usually always
Ridley was
kicker.
out after like 4 games. Maybe even less than that. Because I had Ridley last year and he was out pretty early, and that's honestly I think that's what screwed my team because he was my second round.
Oh, was Q top 10 last year?
Q's been top 10 like the last 4 years.
I don't think he's been in the league.
Last year he was 19th.
Oh, okay.
And this year he's projected outside the top 10 in different categories. But I was just worried about him. I was close to putting him instead of Robbie Gold. It was basically between him and Robbie Gold. But
yeah.
Okay.
He also signed a big, huge extension, 5-year extension. So, you never know if maybe that motivates him more and / he can just relaxes and just focuses on his kicks because he doesn't got to focus on a contract and money and stuff. You never know.
Yeah.
But yeah. Jake, are you good on Dax then?
I went over Q, yeah, so that's good with me.
Cool. All right, well, then let's move to you.
Yes.
Yes. I love me some Robbie Gold, but I don't know if he's top 10. I just don't know. Where was Robbie last year? I don't know where he was. Where was Robbie last year?
He was 22nd.
Okay.
But they had a really bad offense, so I just think this is going to be a higher...
They had a really bad offense.
I just thought it was going to be a higher octane offense. So I was picking more kickers with that kind of team, I guess.
I agree with that. I agree with that one more than I agree with Nick. Even though I have him on my list, I don't know. I'm kind of regretting putting Nick Folk as high up as I am, but I don't know. Nick Folk to me was one that I was already kind of iffy on, and I don't know if he's a good kicker. I just apparently watching highlights and reading stuff. Apparently, the Patriots' offense has been struggling so far through preseason. Preseason doesn't mean a whole lot, especially because the starters aren't out there for a long time. But last year they were for no reason at all. They were clicking really well, and they were just for whatever. It was so stupid that they were actually winning as much as they were. It was actually frustrating. But it'll be curious to see if because so far they haven't really done good. So, but the rest of the list,
Folk finished first last year.
Because they were playing so well, and now
this year he's ranked looks like around 10. So
which is all dependent too on them on the offense being able to move, which so far it's looked like they were having trouble. So, but I can't say much because I still have them on my list as well. But that's one that I was already kind of looking at on my own list. So that's the only reason I bring it up. Other than that, I'm done
for sure. Do you guys want me to explain my sleeper?
Sure.
Let's do it. I wasn't going to bring it up, but I'll let you bring it up.
Oh my god. Hold on, let me find where I had some notes on them.
We need the stat.
I was trying to find my stat.
Where we need a button. This is where we need the button with Jeopardy music. When someone's trying to find something.
Oh my god.
Be perfect. That'd be a great button. We'll have that next time.
Yeah. I think just because he came in the middle of last year, and he still finished 10th on the year. No, he played 17 games, it says. Wait. He made 30 of 34 field goals last season, had an 84.6% success rate, and I think... I just like I said, I like guys on higher octane offenses. I think that's more reliable. So I just put him as a potential top 10 sleeper. Like he could break you through.
Sure. Understood.
Oh my God.
I found it. Sorry.
Nice.
Perfect. That's perfect. Anytime someone's got to find something, that's what we got to do. That's perfect.
Yes.
Awesome.
For Kyle.
Yes.
Who do you have here? That's that different than me. I mean, Evan McPherson won. Do you want to explain that?
Okay. So I was gonna see if anyone was gonna do it. He's got a killer leg. We saw it last year. I think that Justin Tucker absolutely has been good, but I think that Cincinnati after last year is gonna have a fever about them and an energy about them after feeling burned, especially like in what was probably one of the most entertaining Super Bowls I can remember watching.
It was good. It was great.
I can't imagine that Cincinnati as a whole isn't going to come out with an absolute fire of revenge against everything that happened in that Super Bowl. So to me, if they're going to come out and they're going to play that well, which I think they will, I had a lot of Cincinnati guys on my list. I had Jamar Chase as number one for receivers. I put down.
So
I had
you're going for Joe Burrow?
I had Joe Burrow as still at 4 for QB, but I think that he showed that he can do it, and plus I think they made a few additions to their offensive line to try and help protect him. I think that all of that combined means that Ed McPherson is going to get a lot of kicks, and he obviously has the leg and the talent to be able to make those kicks. So that's why I put him above Justin Tucker with Baltimore.
Awesome. Yeah, I can see it. I like Evan McPherson a lot.
Mm-hmm. No, he's definitely in the top. I should probably move him a little higher. He's definitely really good.
He's got a great leg, and he's cool as a cucumber. I've never seen a kicker with as much swag as him.
He was the one that was yelling, like, this is why you draft a kicker, right? I'm thinking of the right guy after he made, like, a ridiculously long game-winning field goal. I mean, like, just that kind I don't know. I remember that all the time.
Who was the kicker who, like, the kick got partially blocked, and he ran up and they threw it 50 yards or something? It was sad.
Dude, I don't.
Do you remember that?
No, I don't.
It was like last year or the year before. It was hilarious.
I can't remember.
That guy's got the swag. We'll have to find him.
I don't know. We got to find out who that is. It's definitely not Rodrigo Blankenship for sure.
No, this guy had tattoos. So.
I don't think McPherson has any. We gotta find that clip. I want to know. I want to know who that is.
Yeah,
awesome. I'll find it for you.
Okay, jeez. Zach, anything?
Yes. Give me. Just back on Evan McPherson. He's cool as the other side of the pillow. I like his attitude, so I kind of like seeing him on number one on your list. Other than that, can't really argue. Matt Prater, I was debating putting him on my list. He's a great kicker historically. And then Brandon McManus, with the air being thinner up there, he always makes the longer field goals. He's usually a good, when they're playing at home, a good streaming option for the week if you don't have a kicker or don't have a good one or something, or looking for a new one. If McManus is available and they're playing at home, he's usually a good one to pick for a stream because he might hit a 50-yarder. So
for sure. On top of the fact that they have now Wilson there and possibly a more juiced offense.
It makes him a little more valuable. I was debating putting him in as well.
So I picked him as my sleeper.
Yeah, so that's a good one. I like your list. I don't know. I don't know. I need to see about Matt Gay if he can do it again. Kind of coming out of nowhere last year. I need to see if he can repeat it. So that's why I have him at 10 versus higher. I know he did pretty well last year. I like Harrison Butker a little higher just because I think so far for a guy that I think this is like his 6th season or something, going into his 6th season. I think right now Harrison Butker is the most accurate kicker in history this far in his career. I think he's above 90% or something insane.
Wow.
Yeah, I read that somewhere. I can't remember if he's really high on the list if he's not the most accurate so far in his throughout his career.
Got it. That's awesome.
So
the only thing with me was which I guess would have moved him up rather than down, but just a question on just what that offense in Kansas City is going to look like. Is he going to have the same volume that he normally does now with? I mean, I still think it's a talented wide receiver core in Kansas City. You've got Valdez-Scantling, who came over from Green Bay. You have Juju Smith-Schuster, who came over from Pitt. And then on top of they took a receiver, I think Sky Moore, a receiver in the draft. There was like their first pick of the second round. I mean, it still could be a really good receiving core. Obviously, just different looking. On top of having Travis Kelce in there too, so the volume could for sure be the same. I had him a little bit lower just because I'm not sure what it's going to look like, especially now without Tyreek Hill in there. So
I gotcha.
But totally understand. He is a really good kicker, honestly. And all these guys on this list, I think it's hard to choose. Especially, I think, like the top 7 in each of our lists, it's hard to kind of differentiate between them all because they're all such good kickers week in and week out.
Right.
Yes, sir.
All right.
That kills it, guys.
All right.
That's our top 10.
Here's another 2-hour episode.
Hell yeah.
I wouldn't say it was 2. Was it?
Do you have a counter on there, Zach? Where are we at for this episode here?
We're at 2 hours.
Holy shit.
See, there you go. But honestly, I think it's good, and I think that hopefully, the
mock drafts go quicker than that. Just tell Frankie that.
Yeah, right. Well, I'm sure she's cursing you out because I've been down here, but I think the big thing is that this episode is helpful, especially anybody who's listening. Obviously, we're just 3 guys who did our own research and went through a whole bunch of different stuff. There's obviously so many different apps and websites that you can go to, so just look around. But hopefully these top 10s and sleepers and rookies and everything that we talked about today can help, especially try and win your league, or at least maybe bring up a name that you weren't thinking about that maybe changes and gives you another option, for your draft board or your draft list going into your draft.
Hell yeah. Absolutely. And then with that, everyone, just be sure to give us a like and subscribe on the old YouTube, which is how you're listening to us right now. And also, while you're at it, go over to our social media. Give us a little follow, Give us a cheeky little follow. We're on Facebook, facebook.com/Garden of Sports Podcast. We're on Instagram, instagram.com/Garden of Sports. And we're on Twitter, twitter.com/GOSPod2021. Give us a follow. Definitely won't regret it. And stay tuned for another football episode. We do our mock draft next week. We'll have Kyle back on. We'll be doing a couple mock drafts for you. So, be on the lookout for those. And football's back, baby.
Football is back, baby.
Yeah,
so excited.
I'm pumped.
So excited.
We have to, I don't know if we can get together, but for the family league, we are getting together with Ben. I don't know if you could probably can't make the trip down, but
me,
probably
either,
not.
But we can all hop on Discord though.
We'll do a Discord thing. I'm going to be working, so it's going to be after work for me. But
all right,
for sure.
Well, thanks everyone. Next week we'll do a mock draft, and we'll release our top 10 rankings for PPR. Which will be adjust these lists. So
slightly, but yes.
All right.
Awesome. Adios.
All right. See you guys next week.
See ya.
Bye.